my strong recommendation, yes, it is better to using a shell script that we created for the during the class. Okay, just a minor tweak, which means that a few parameter and then just a few names, because that is still Bourne shell. Bourne shell is also available definitely in the Solaris. Only the difference might be adding users command, okay, and options. All right, so you need to adapt it. Okay, and you need to install the GCC compiler. Okay, you can search the Google and you can find out what is the meaning of the GCC compiler, GNU-C compiler. Okay, so set path for the GCC compiler. So if you type GCC, your the Solaris should recognize the GCC is running in there. Okay, same backups. Okay, same backup. So you should back up every day at 2 a.m. Okay, and the backup location is the people's directory. Okay, home directory. All right. Database server is MySQL data server. You should run it. Okay, simply put, you just need to install MySQL, right? And also, your MySQL database should be backed up at every day at 2 a.m. Okay, same time, right? And then file name is the same, right? Extra credit for the Solaris as well as the database server. Solaris server, you should, if you can set it up NFS. NFS stands for Network File Sharing, which is strong file sharing features in the Unix and Linux operating system. You can use NSF, and then you can put those backup location in one place. Okay, in the Solaris, the operating system. Then that's the extra credit. Extra credit for the database server if you can create web page in the web server that can use this database server's database, and then shows that the information from this database server, then you have an extra credit. Again, this is not required because I'm not actually I haven't teaching you how you did it. So if you keep figuring out how to do it, there will be an extra credit. Okay, so those two, right? So Windows Server should run Active Directory. So should have more than 3 Active Directory users from the given user information for the Solaris. For example, choose any 3 users from the user.dat file that I'm actually providing for this final project. Choose 3 of them and then put it into the Active Directory as a user of Active Directory user. Okay, so that is actually requirement for the Windows Server. All right. Okay, this is the teamwork. Okay, but teamwork means that sometimes that the people just misunderstand that because it's the team, so just one person do almost everything and then the other people didn't do anything, right? In that case, that's an issue, right? So what happened is at the end of the before the final exam day, right? What you need to turn in is you need to turn in another things, which is, let me show you. Okay, here. Okay, so I'm going to share with this screen with you. Okay, every one of you individually, okay, this is the individual submission, right? Just before the final exam day, you need to turn in each one of you, okay? It's not per one per team, no, it is per individual members. You need to provide what day, name, and then your team name. This is your name, okay? This is your name, and your team member's name, and then explicitly finding out, telling what is the IP of your Windows server, web server, and what is the root password for the web server, so that I can connect and actually checking it. Also, you need to check that who did web server installation, who did basic web page creation, and who did firewall configuration, who did backup the web directory, okay, and how much has been done, right? For example, like this. Same thing for goes to the Solaris server. Who actually create the Solaris creation? Who actually did the GCC installation? Who actually did for the GCC path setup? Who actually did the backups? And who actually did the tar backup with data info? Those you need to fill up. Okay. Likewise, same for the MySQL, same for the Windows server, and then same for the Active Directory. Okay. Now, what about if the two people working together on the same item? For example, like web server installation. Okay, usually it's rare, but what if you have done? Then, for example, if the John did 70% of actual work, and then Jake did 30% of work, then you need to specify like this. Okay, and the base web page creation also you need to specify like this. Okay, right. This is your personal opinion. I would say that that way because sometimes some people think that I did most of them. Okay, what the other people saying that I did more than the other, right? So there are actually not agreement on the how much portion actually one person or the other person actually did, right? Don't worry, okay? Most of the time, as long as overall workload are equal. For example, not everybody need to participate on the web server installation. No, you don't need to. Okay. What about the Solaris server installation? Not all of you need to do it. Okay. Again, this is the team project. As long as the workload is somewhat average, right? Contribution, it's good. However, if I say that one person did 90% of work and the other 2 or 3 people only did like 10% of work, that is not fair to having the same, weighted grade, is it? So what happens is you will have, your team members grade, and then from their team members grade, there will be a deviation if the workload is not equal. Okay. For example, if your team actually complete everything, okay, then you will have a good grade, isn't it? And then, but inside of that team, if one person did almost everything, then he will get or she will get the recognition. However, the other 2 who didn't participate actively, then they will have lesser grader than the team grade. Okay, right? So let's say that if the most of the time I see that no issues for this, but the very rare case, I would say that once in every 2 or 3 years, one of the students claim that that I did this, right? Then if it is difficult to judging it based on this the individual project checklist submission, I will do this way. Okay, usually what I do is I'm asking to the students, show me how you did it, right? Okay, for this case, most likely I'm going to using an MS Team or this virtual classroom, asking the individual students that if there is a contradiction, okay, if there is no contradiction, it's fine, no problem, okay, because I trust everybody's that contribution, right? But just in case there is a the disagreement, then I need to clarify who did what part, okay, so I can give a fair grade to everybody, right? Okay, questions about this final project? Yes, that the Excel file I will give it to you, and this PPT I'm going to give it to you. So that's why I'm not recording it, right? Because it's obviously showing a more detailed information on this PPT file.
So these servers, are these virtual machines already installed?
That virtual machines are the that you need to install inside of your physical server. That's why your team who is sharing the same server should be on the same team. understand that due for this final project is on the final exam day, 11:59 p.m. on the final exam day, right? And that should be run a couple of days. Since, except this, Excel file, which is, final project checklist, except that file, actual grading is ongoing into your system with the IP address that you provided and the root password that you provided. Using that information, I'm going into your system and then I'm checking it. So all of your system should be up and running at the time, okay? Another things, let me tell you this way. So if you look at this one, you should have an IP address, right? Some of the, the IP address should be static, even if it's not mentioned in here, right? For example, like web server. Do you think the web server is DHCP, if web server is using a DHCP, so that the IPs keep changing? It's not going to work, isn't it? So, Raghu is not going, I explained it, it's not on the recording yet, okay? Right? So, why? Reason simple. Because, that the web server should be on the one side, one IP address, so that someone who is actually trying to connect it is should using that IP, okay? If I already explained that, like, the ATM's case on top of the, on top of the truck, okay? If your truck is moving around with ATM, you never get a service, because you never know that where is the ATM is available and what time it will be there, isn't it? So what happens is you most likely need to have a static IP address for each of those servers, right? Except the Windows desktop. In that case, what IP address you can use it? Simple. You already have one static IP address for one student, isn't it? So each one of you already have one static IP address. So after you finishing up all the submissions, then you can start working on the final project, and you can reuse your personal, IP address that is given for you for your CentOS VM that can be reused for this web server, Solaris server, database server, as well as your Active Directory server, right? If you need more IP because you only have 3 team members, well, let me know, okay? I will, find another IP address and, assign that extra IP address to you, okay? Your team, more precisely. Yeah, I'm going to explain that, okay, after this final project. Right, so any question on this final project? Schedule? I will check and then, post it into the D12, okay? But I believe it is already posted into the D12, okay? Let me briefly checking if I can find final exam schedule. Oops, it's not here. Because the my.ggstudy.edu is down at this time. I will check, okay? I will check. Okay, so I'm going to check the Philip's email, Philip's message. So if we split up the work evenly and my partner portion works, but mine does not, will my partner lose point for my mess up? No, not actually, because that is why I'm asking to, provide, information, okay? For example, like, if you are equally divided, like 1/3 of each work, or 1/4 of each work, because for example, if you have 4 team members in your team, and then each one of you is supposed to doing 25% instead of 100%, isn't it? But let's say that one person, supposed to doing in the, MySQL database server. Somehow he messed up and he couldn't finishing up, right? What portion is getting reduced? His portion, not the other people's portion. Right? Does it make sense? Yes, definitely. Nana, you are allowed to help each other. Okay, that's the good thing for the teamwork. questions? Brucey? I'll check the schedule and then I'll post into the D2L. But unfortunately, I don't see that final exam schedule into the in this my courses.gg study view site. Okay, so but as soon as I found out, most likely today, definitely. If you cannot see it by today, let me know. Okay, definitely I should able to finding out by today. Okay, so I will check the schedule and post it. Most likely it will be somewhere in the, let's see, April, well, about like a 6 or 7, right, in between that time. Okay, so you do have more than like 10 days from now on. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking it's safe to discuss it at this time. Not actually each sections, right? Let me tell you this way. For example, think about this way. Installation of MySQL, is it hard? Not actually. It's just one command, right? Like a yum install or DNF install or something, right? Just one, done, right? Is it the same weight? Should be a same weight as like user creation? No, user creation you need to create a shell script most likely, and then using the shell script to adapt it. So each one is not equal. So why I'm asking to divide it as an equal, because if you are really working on, you really need to know that how much workload it will need. Okay, because that's the nature of the system administration job. Because not everything is equal weight. So you need to see that what portion takes a longer time, what portion takes a little less time. So far, you already done what is the installation, how to setting up, and you realize that what is actually more hard than compared to the other, right? That judgment you should also have it. Actually, this final project is not actually asking one aspect; it is asking multiple aspects at the same time. Okay, that's why even though it doesn't include a lot of things, it actually able to measure many other things together. Okay, so Campbell, does it answer your question? Well, Ashkan, if you're asking that way, you are not actually fully understand what is the meaning of the firewall of the virtual machine. VRD port firewall configuration is only running inside of your physical server, not the VM. So the firewall configuration in here in the web server is for your VM's firewall configuration. It's nothing to do with VRD port number. Hope that is answer your question. Okay, all right. Brucey, I would say that I will leave it up to your team, okay, how you are going to, balance it out, okay? Reason is simple, like this. Like every team work, okay, like every team, the situation, you will face the same thing in the workplace too, okay? Some people are talented, okay? I would say yes, that is true, okay? Everybody is not equal, because everybody is equal in the sense of their rights and humans, the other things. But sometimes you can see that not everybody is equal in the sense of the specific thing. For example, if you are asking me about can you run like 11-second flat for the 100-meter running, I can't, because my body is not equal to everybody else, right? Okay, so I can answer in that way, because that I understand that not everybody is equal. However, you need to demonstrate, that your, the skill set in terms of IT administration. Okay. Also, that does not mean that some people are good at, the installation things. Some people are good at, the programming side. Okay. So if you felt like you are strong in the program side, then you can, asking your, team